Hey, this is Chris at Art Secret Studio, and we're excited to start this art class. Today we're going to start with a very simple concept called tinting. Tinting means adding white to your color, but it brings up a few problems. In the drawing realm, the first thing I do is I recognize where the sun is in the painting and my horizon line. Your horizon line is your eye level. And those are among the 50 things I do first. And I think I just added 2 more, so we could be at 56, Lori. I do 56 things first sometimes. So basically, I think the horizon line is immediate and also where is the sun. So I establish where the sun is, and everything gets darker farther from the sun. You have a candle in a dark room, and everything gets darker farther from the candle. We good with that? I have the 2 teachers sitting next to each other. Is that for comfort, or is that where you get to talk and discuss what you're going to teach and not, and what you throw out? Yes, that's what it is. It's a group meeting. Okay, so just say the sun is the camera, and I'm saying my eye level now. Well, any guesses where my eye level is? In a horizon line in perspective drawing, your horizon line is your eye level. So farther from my eye level is darker. Farther from my eye level is darker. Farther from my eyes is darker. So that's a very quick sentence that emerges. Farther from my eye level is darker farther away. And in the perfect world, I would say the sun is behind me and everything's darker farther away. When I say everything's darker farther away, I'm really talking about the lit part by the sun, not the shadows. I hate to get off on the topic, but this adding white messes everything up, and you need to know the drawing concepts here. And I'm talking about drawing in the middle of a painting talk. From an incredibly talented advanced artist asking me a beginning question. And I think he knows the answer. He's just getting me back on task because he thought I was ADD, but he's mistaken. I'm ADDD. A. So everything gets darker farther away, but your darks do whatever you need them to do when nobody's looking. So how do I get away with that? Well, the darks aren't in the sun. Hello? They wouldn't be called dark. I made that one up myself. I thought it was ingenious. Yeah. So if I have shadow underneath my fingers here, it's not in the sun. So to make the finger closest to me, my shadow is going to be darker closer to me, and each shadow on each finger is going to get lighter. That has nothing to do with the highlights getting darker farther away and cooler, yellow, orange, red, like this painting. Okay? So the darks do whatever you need them to do for your story. And we call it the 3 L's: likeness, location, or mood. I bring attention to an area based on for years it was just location. What's closer to you, more contrast. What's farther away has less and less contrast. My darks get lighter in the shadows farther away. Makes it realistic. That's all I knew for 20 years, and I ran a successful business. Oh, I was a horrible person as an art teacher, but the money came in. Now that I want to be nice, I don't have anyone in the class. Maybe I should go back. So the first thing, so that's to separate. Your darks deal with contrast, and they have nothing to do with where the sun is. But you got to get away with it. The shadow in my shirt collar will be darker than the shadow at the back of my shoulder, which is farther away. My aerial perspective sort of supports this. All your darks get lighter, bluer, and grayer farther away in a landscape. I'm just doing it on a portrait. I'm making the eyelash closer to me darker, and each eyelash as it goes around the eyeball a little lighter. I'm making the dark along the eyelid at the center closest to me darker, and as it goes around the eyelid, I'm making that dark get lighter. So your darks do not have anything to do with today. Now that's location. There were 3 L's: likeness, location, and mood. Sometimes it's more important to show my anger at you not listening. Here, give me your neck. My anger, and you're going to show the parts that evoke that message. Right? That's a likeness or mood. Likeness could be my long blonde hair, and the wavy curls. And you got to get those curls just right. I actually had real long hair. I was that length. I used to get my hair cut once a year to play baseball. That was it, once. 70s. It was the 70s. It was. Does that date me? Hey, when were you born? When? 2007. That's the year they made my car. So, that's so funny. Was that before cable TV or after? Okay, so let's start over. Adding white to a color only works under certain lighting conditions. Sun's got to be farther away. Hello? Are you tired? I am. I could add white to the color because the sun is in the yellow flowers farther away, the yellow tree. This would take it, okay? The sun is on this side of the hill over here. It's lighter, getting darker, closer to us. This would take it. There is another problem. It only works on certain colors. Red tints, adding white, horribly. Don't do it. Don't do it. In fact, just use burnt sienna and raw umber and raw sienna. The apples goes with red, and don't do anything else. So we have a problem here. There's a lot of art theory. There's complements, there's triadic, there's tetradic, there's analogous, there's a mother color, there's all these little things. But there's one problem. There's also the just because color theory. I'm serious. Okay, sometimes a color looks good. Cerulean looks good with yellow-green, and you just write it down, and you're painting this yellow-green painting, and a little bit of cerulean in the sky makes the yellow-green pretty. Not because you see it, because somebody told you, you were obedient, and you memorized it. And then one day you say to your painting, gosh, I wish you were more happy. And the painting would say, oh, you could try a little cerulean. Do I cut that? No. I was trying not to move my mouth, saw it on TV, didn't work there either. Okay, so tinting is adding white. Now, I should have started with this because you all have your notepads. I've only tinted farther away twice in my lifetime. And both time painting this landscape. And both time it came out beautiful. I remember doing it in a workshop and said, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. I need to do that more often. 10 years later, last Tuesday night, Jason's a week in front of you guys. Very advanced artist, highly skilled. Very good artist. And Jason said, I don't get this. I have trouble. I had to paint on his. So I repainted his painting. I said, well, you're only allowed to add white, Jason. That means you have to use white. He said, oh. You mean to all the colors? Yeah, that's all the colors. Exactly. Oh. So I thought this would be a good thing for us to do. And when I finished, I said, oh my gosh, that is absolutely beautiful. So I don't feel like I use this with yellow enough. And I think it's important that we all see it happen in front of our eyes, put it in your memory bank, and hopefully use it before 10 years again. Okay? But it tells me I can add white to my colors farther away when the sun is, and that will make it recede. And that's what's going on here. The color is getting whiter farther away. And that's called tinting. I hate to make this confusing, but what the heck? When you add white to a color, it lowers the intensity when it's an old color or an impressionist period color, but not a modern color. Paints that were mixed after 1910, adding white is not lowering the intensity enough, and you must also add gray at the same time. So that chart up there, the classical palette and the impressionist palette, really comes from Gamblin making up these terms. And those colors at the top, if you look at cerulean blue, when you add white, it's pretty ugly. When you add cad red, it's pretty ugly. When you drop to a modern color and you get cerulean blue hue, it means it's the color of cerulean blue, but it's not cerulean blue. It's the color. Cubic zirconia looks like a diamond. My wife never bought that, though I tried. Cerulean blue, when you add white, stays very vibrant. So to lower the intensity of cerulean blue, not only do I add white to make it lighter, but I also have to add some gray to kill it. So tinting works for impressionist paintings, basically mineral colors infused with inorganic materials such as cadmiums, cobalts, and chromiums at high heat. So the modern colors is organic chemistry, organic pigments with a molecular structure based on carbon. If you can't spell it, it's a modern color. Okay, for me, I can't even say it. Diazinon purple, quinacridone red, indothrone blue, manganese blue hue,
yeah,
not manganese blue.
okay.
And oh, isn't that weird? I absolutely love manganese blue hue. It is beautiful, especially for glazing Caribbean scenes. Well, it's a modern color. Yeah. The quinacridone reds, purples, and rose, those are colors. If you're painting flowers and you need beautiful flowers and you're going to add white to it, you go right to those. But I found adding white to my color, because this is all about white. Tinting is white. Adding white to my cadmiums would make the ugliest flower you ever saw in your lifetime. But adding white to quinacridones, all of them, they have them all in different colors, like perylene red and naphthol scarlet, and then the quinacridone red, rose, magenta, and purple. All those colors, you would have beautiful flowers. Now it's not the only way to make it beautiful, and I don't want to make a sidetrack, but we took the cadmium reds with Sargent's girl in Boston with the red velvet, and we added white to it. But when it dried, we had to glaze with oleo gel, that pure scarlet, over the top of that white to bring it back, and that was really beautiful.
So are you saying,
Uh-oh.
if you're using, say doing a sunset,
Yeah.
and you want to scumble in some of those scarlety colors at the end, and
Yeah.
you have the whites, are you saying you're better off potentially to go with another, perylene or one modern color?
I think you would have to judge the psychological message that you're after. Am I needing that painting? So if you didn't hear that, because I have the camera facing the wrong direction, darn it. The camera's facing the right direction, the mic is not. They're both facing me. So her question was that sometimes, instead of just scumbling, where I'm touching the bumps of the canvas with cad red, or cad red and white, if I wanted it to be more beautiful, then I would use the quinacridones or perylenes. Yeah. But keep in mind, it's up in the ante of how beautiful it is. And there has to be an eye level. How beautiful is my painting? Is it down here or is it up here? And that tells you, when you're adding white, which color, the cadmium scarlet or the perylene red.